This is Corner Talk.
What's going on, guys? It's Pap here. I'm with my boy Big Verb. We finally have another numbered event, so I'm looking forward to this. I was supposed to go to this card. Unfortunately, I've just spent too much money traveling lately, so I gotta chill. I am going to Sacramento next week, so I'm excited to watch this one from home. I'm excited to kind of just be chilling on the couch, see if our picks pan out, and yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. How you feel about this card?
It's good. I honestly think it's a great card to sit at home and watch. Because even though I feel like you should be getting a discount on the tickets, you're not. There's a lot of names on here, but it's a lot of old names. I wouldn't want to pay personally. And I would love to see Islam. I think he's only got 2-3 fights left, tops. But I also don't want to pay thousands of dollars to see some of these people. So I think it's one of those perfect pay-per-view cards. Definitely sit at home and enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into it. All right. First, my bad. So, first fight of the night, we have Jeremiah Wells versus Miktabek Orobai. Honestly, I think that Miktabek Orobai, his cardio was going to be the main factor here. I'm going to lean Orobai because unfortunately, I don't want to say this because it sounds like I'm bashing on Jeremiah Wells' age, but Jeremiah Wells is definitely, he's at the end of his career. Let's just say that. He's pretty slow. He's a massive guy. He's yoked, as you can see in this photo here. He definitely slows down as the fight goes on. He's not as explosive after the first round. We know that Orobai can take an absolute beating. The guy has had some barn burners so far in the UFC. And we also know that Orobai's pace is just next level. He just likes to shoot constantly for the takedowns. He'll wear down your gas tank. And, if you crumble, he's just going to beat you to a pulp until either he can submit you or, ground and pound you out. I just don't really see a world where Jeremiah Wells wins here. Honestly, I don't think he'll be able to hurt Orobai on the feet. I mean, I know Wells has good jiu-jitsu. He's used it in the past, but I don't see him subbing Orobai. I think this is a Orobai probably decision, honestly. How do you see this fight going?
Pretty similar to what you're saying. I think Wells probably has like the first 2-3 minutes for his best chance at winning, just being explosive and trying to, have a Hail Mary right hook or something. But I think once it gets past that, if it does, Orobai is definitely better odds. And like you said, he's 39, pushing 40. Not the best career resume, nothing against him, but Orobai's not really a great matchup for him, in my opinion. And I think this is kind of a layup to get Orobai back on. I mean, he's been winning, but kind of set him up to get back in that contender talk, that top 10 talk. And I think, honestly, he probably finishes Wells probably third round, I think.
Okay. Yeah, he is a minus 900 favorite. All right, yeah, so he's probably getting the finish here. Moving on. I'm excited for this fight, man. Neil Magny always brings it. He really has embraced that role as a gatekeeper, in my opinion. I actually want to see. I want to see what you have for this before I tell you what I think is going to happen. But how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I'm on the unk. I think I look at kind of Ramez's resume. It's not impressive. His wins don't stand out to me. Austin, Vanderford, never known for anything besides who he dated in the UFC. The Billy Ray Golf hasn't really aged that well too. It was also, over a year ago. I just don't. The only thing that I can see happening for him, in my opinion, is Neil kind of sometimes when he does takedowns or anything, he kind of has his neck out to grab. And I know he's got that guillotine choke, obviously, but I don't know. I kind of think Magny has one of his little moments that he does stays and gets that momentum back, has an unk moment. I don't know if he finishes him, but I think Magny can wear him out for 3 rounds and pull off a decision. Shocker. Well, honestly, it's not a shocker because the odds are pretty close. Borderline pick 'em when I was looking at DraftKings earlier. So I kind of think Neal's going to edge out a decision. And if he doesn't, I think he gets caught chasing a takedown and, gets caught in like a front headlock or something like that.
Wow, I just noticed the reach difference. That's insane. 8 inches. All right, well, Ramiz is definitely going to have his work cut out for him. I'm actually on Brahimaj. I definitely agree with you. There's definitely a world where Magny comes out here, shows that, he's been fighting guys at the highest level for a very long time. He does have that, veteran prowess. I just think that Brahimaj is extremely explosive. He was kind of known as a grappler when he first came into the UFC. The problem I have with Magny is like, which Magny is going to show up? Is it going to be the Magny that fought, what was it, Phil Rowe? I think that's the fight I'm thinking. It was kind of sloppy. He didn't look super sharp anywhere that the fight was. With Brahimaj, I know he lost his last fight, or was it his last fight? Puna?
His last fight, yeah.
Yeah. Puna, he's an Extreme Couture guy. And you've been on the show for a few weeks now, but since the beginning of this show, I've been saying Extreme Couture is very, very good at winning minutes. And that's why a lot of their guys are successful. That's why we see the Sean Stricklands. They are obviously they come from that wrestling base that, when Randy Couture started, he was able to just wrestle guys until they got tired and was able to take over. They've kind of adapted now with modern day MMA and learned to push guys up against the fence, win minutes there, kind of stay out of those super, sketchy stand and bang situations. And I don't really think Brahimaj lost too much stock there. A lot of people were shitting on him after he lost to Puna, but I just think that, Brahimaj, he's still young. He's still kind of green in the UFC. He hasn't fought the highest level opponents, of course, but I just don't see Neil Magny being a real threat to Brahimaj. Like, I see him maybe trying to submit him, but I think that defensively, Brahimaj's grappling is just going to be too good. The guy trains with Nicky Rod. Obviously, that's a very high level, jiu-jitsu guy to have in your corner to be drilling with constantly. And I honestly think Brahimaj has a lot more power than Neil Magny in the hands as well. So I like Brahimaj here. I just don't know if he's going to be able to finish Neil Magny. Like, Neil Magny's getting, knocked out by, cream of the crop guys.
Literally.
I think this is going to be like 15 minutes of Brahimaj just kind of beating on Neil Magny. Maybe it's competitive in moments, but I'm going to lean Brahimaj decision here.
Okay.
But the Unk can definitely get it done. I don't think it's crazy picking.
It just scares me that the odds makers see it so close. That's a little worrisome for me.
Yeah, I agree. Next fight, we have Rafael Tobias versus Lucas Fernando. I don't know if you remember Tobias's last fight. The guy's extremely aggressive. He has this like, who does he remind me of? He's kind of just willing to walk you down, stand and bang, eat some big shots. He likes to also grapple. He'll take you down and, try to beat on you a bit, go for submissions. That's one of the things I like about him. He's constantly trying to finish the fight. He's not looking for a decision. The issue is I don't think his gas tank supports that style as well as he would like. He definitely slows down after the first round. Maybe it's just because, he is a bigger guy, light heavyweight. These guys, they hold a lot of muscle mass on them. Lucas Fernando, 0-1 in the UFC so far. I don't know, man. These guys on the regional scene, they don't fight like the highest level of competition most of the time. You have, those guys that, are coming over to the States and fighting in LFA or Fury, stuff like that. But a lot of these guys' like records, you watch them and they're fighting in like a gym somewhere in Brazil against the guy who like just got off his shift at the tire shop. And I don't know, man. This is a test for Tobias to see if he actually belongs in the UFC. And then for Fernando, I don't know. Is his chin gonna hold up? Obviously, he's fighting up. As we see here, his last fight was at middleweight, but he does have a significant reach advantage now that I'm looking at it. So I'm gonna go with Tobias. Not a super confident pick. What are the odds right now?
He's
Tobias
a big underdog, right?
Oh, he's a big underdog. Okay, probably because of the reach, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I feel like Fernando will gas if Tobias is able to successfully take him down. I feel like Fernando's gonna kind of struggle with that. So I'll take a dog shot here just for the sake of picking him, but not super confident in this fight. I don't really feel comfortable laying money on either guy, if I'm being honest.
I'm right there with you on that. I think this is one of the ones I'll avoid it from a gambling standpoint. Also, can we talk about the elephant? One of the elephants in the room. $1 billion company, by the way, has the grappling record of Fernando and not his MMA record on their website for this card. I don't get it.
Record?
That's what it says. It says grappling. Or no, that's just the stats for grappling. Yeah, but that's not his MMA record. That's got to be a
no.
Like, what is his 0-1 record? I don't know. He hasn't fought in the UFC. It's his debut.
Was he on? He was on Contender Series.
No, not Fernando. Or am I tripping?
I swear it was. Let me see.
No, he's coming from LFA, I think.
But I think he was on Contender Series in the past.
Oh.
That's why his photo was kind of grayed out. Yeah, he was on Contender
You're right.
Series.
You're right. Oh, 2023.
Yeah. So that's his record just under the UFC banner.
And he hasn't done great in the UFC, to be honest with you. Or not terrible, but not great. It's like 3-3, I think. Yeah, I don't have much on this fight, to be honest with you. I agree on everything you said about Tobias. I don't know if I'd pick him. I don't know why he's such a big underdog. It's interesting. I think it's go either way. Yeah. Like you said, the reach kind of definitely stands out a bit. But I kind of want to lean Fernando, but those debuts, man, like you said, is just another level, especially I think Tobias was in the Contender, right, too? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think he lost his UFC debut, which isn't a big deal. We kind of see that when they come from Ultimate Fighter or Contender, they kind of get a step up in competition. And a lot of times it's a last minute step up too. And they a lot of times lose it, but I do think they grow a lot. I don't really have a pick. I like Tobias, but like I said, I would never put money on him.
Yeah, he lost a decision to Dyer, the dude that sparked Vernon Lopez last week.
Oh, that's not a bad loss.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's a high-level kickboxer. But
yeah,
we can move on. Not super confident anyway.
So. No.
This fight is a banger. I want to hear your thoughts on it first.
I'm on Gore, man. I think he hasn't had the best run, but it's not a bad run either. I think Vince Luque, he's had his moments, and you kind of seen him. The Gaslam wins just don't hold a lot of weight anymore, unfortunately. That's just kind of what it is. I think I picked him, honestly, to win that Calvin fight. I was surprised how quick he did it, but also Gaslam's been coming in overweight almost all of his fights lately. So I don't think he's as serious as he was before. He's pretty much fighting for a check. I think Gore comes out explosive. He likes to get finishes. He really doesn't aim for point fighting that much. I think he's going to come out explosive. I think it's going to be a brawl to the end or someone's getting finished in kind of like the late second round, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if you see kind of a late submission by Gore after tagging up Luque. But like I said, that win over Gaslam's not giving me confidence in Luque. He's definitely looked pretty rough in those previous fights. Who were they against? I mean, especially that Kevin Holland fight. He looked terrible in that. If I remember that fight correctly. So And I mean, his only win after before Gaslam was, was it that Timba guy who I think he just got kicked out of the UFC. He went on, and he went on a losing streak right after that. Terrible. So I think I'm on Gore. I think I'm going to go with the younger guy, more hungrier guy. Not like I said, I mean, 7-4 is definitely not giving you great feeling, but I do think he's getting better. He's getting more confident, and he's got a lot of tools. He's very aggressive, which I think is good against these OG type fighters that have been around for a while, especially kind of losing their chin, not completely, but it's fading a little bit. So I like the weapons of Gore more than Luque.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on Tresean Gore as well. I like Tresean a lot. I've had him on the show before, did an interview with him, actually right before the big upset in the Azamat Bakoyev fight. I interviewed him that week, and bro, when I was talking to him, like, the guy's a dog. I really like where he's at mentally now in his career. He was having some issues before coming off of tough. I think it was just only like a. Oh, sorry, I lagged out.
No, you're fine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. I think we're good. Yeah, so he made it to the Ultimate Fighter with only a few fights on his record, so he wasn't super experienced. He was definitely pretty green, but he made it so far in the Ultimate Fighter. So it just kind of goes to show you that, like, even with like not that much experience, he still had what it took to fight at the highest level. In that Bakoyev fight, he took some damage early. He took some big shots against a guy who's very dangerous early, very explosive, and he just dogged it out, made amazing decisions, ended up getting the finish himself. So I commend him for that. Unfortunately, I do think Vicente is also at the end of his career. Not super impressed by any of his fights lately. I honestly don't think the guy likes to get hit anymore after he had the brain injury thing, the brain scare. Ever since that, I just feel like mentally there's a block there. The moment he gets hurt, he's kind of just looking for a way out. And I feel like that's what's going to happen here. Don't forget, Buckley knocked him out with like one, two clean shots, and it was pretty much over. I think Tresean Gore can definitely do the same. I also think Tresean Gore can hang in the grappling if Vicente tries to, grapple a bit here. So I like Tresean Gore, and I expect him to get a finisher.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on. Ooh, this next one. So I'm excited about this one. And
another Unk fight.
It's not because of name value. I will say, I know people aren't very high on Eric McConaughey. Dante Johnson came into the UFC with a little bit of hype. He got an impressive KO on Contender Series. But a lot of people kind of started to realize that when he fought Cody Brundage, he wasn't really the guy that a lot of people thought he was. He had that terrible fight with Cedric Dumas where, like, Dumas just literally did nothing. And I felt like Dumas honestly could have won that fight. But he just ended up in this weird submission that wasn't even tight. And he tapped. I don't think that Dante Johnson's going to be able to do that here. I think people are disrespecting McConaughey because he has had some very tough fights so far in the UFC. Don't forget, he fought, Susarkayev, which I know it was a short notice fight, but Susarkayev took until like halfway into the third round to finally, land a huge shot on McConaughey and put him out. It was a bad look. It didn't make McConaughey look, like he was kind of chinny, but Susarkayev is a very high level guy. I do think that he has a bright future in the UFC. I think people are kind of looking past him. I think that they think Dante's going to come in here and get an early finish, which is possible. It's MMA. Anything can happen. But I like Eric McConaughey here. I think that he's spending a lot of time at MMA Lab. That's his gym. He's training with guys like Jared Cannonier, Tresean Gore that we were just talking about. So Jackson McVeigh as well. So he's getting experience with like other big guys that, do have some power, are kind of well-rounded. And I have, very high praise for Coach John Crouch. So I think that as long as Eric McConaughey mentally goes into this fight sharp, I think he can get it done. What are your thoughts?
I'm actually on that with you. I think all of his losses have aged pretty well. And like you said, that short notice fight, I mean, nobody wanted to fight that guy. He's known as the killer, you know what Jimmy trains at. So there's so much hype and reasonable hype, you know what I mean? But he lasted way longer than, everyone was pretty much betting on first round finish, if I remember, on that fight. Nobody expected that to make it to the second round. That was the anticipation of that fight, and he held his own. You know what I mean? Definitely challenged him a lot more than people expected. And he beat Cody, and I think in a better fashion than Dante just did. I like the most recent win with Vieira for Eric. I don't think anyone expected that. I mean, he has these huge underdog wins. I know the age probably scares some people, but honestly, lately, man, these vets that just have that experience are just, it's turning. They're kind of flipping the script where I feel like 5 years ago, people like 35 and up, you're like, oh, brother, it's time to call it a day. But now you kind of see these guys evolving, and I don't want to say being gatekeepers, but definitely putting on a show to these young and upcomings that only have 8 MMA fights, So I think Eric, honestly, is he a big underdog this week? I haven't looked at the odds for this one.
I think it's like a plus 300. Well, on here it says
plus 200. Yeah, and those were probably the original odds too. Yeah. So I bet he's probably a lot more by now. I think that's great value. Like I said, some of these unks I think are going to upset some of these younger guys. They just got more tools, honestly. I think the younger guys are just going to come out, minus Luke, are going to come out really aggressive. And if that doesn't work for them, I think they're in trouble. And I think Dante Johnson, I watched a little bit of the Eric fight last night, the Brundage fight. I wasn't impressed, man. I wasn't impressed. He honestly made Brundage kind of look better than he is, to be honest. So
same with the Dumas fight. He struggled so much with Dumas.
So, I think Eric is great value, especially he put a great clinic show against Vieira, who, like I said, a lot of people counted him out of that one. Vieira's not the best striker by any means, but he's got great grappling and jiu-jitsu, and he struggled to do it against Eric, to be honest with you. So I think Eric's got all the tools to win this. It's definitely, I think the pressure is actually on Dante Johnson coming into this fight, and I think Eric may kind of coast to a decision win on this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. It's also wild that he's 5'8" fighting at middleweight, bro.
Ain't it though?
I'm 5'8". I've met some middleweights. I met Cedric Dumas. I would not want to fight those guys. They are tall as shit.
And how much are you walking around? Like at 5'8", like
me?
No, him. Like 5'8", man. I mean,
I was gonna say I'm fat.
180.
I'm like 210, 215. This dude used to be fat. I know that's why he's kind of like yoked now, but I don't know. It's a weird build for middleweight, bro.
100%.
And also, before we move on to the next fight, did you watch any of the training footage that he's put out with Strickland? Because Dante's been training at Extreme Couture.
I've seen one video, and it was horrendous looking. It is the one I'm thinking of.
There's one video where he's sparring with Strickland, and he keeps dipping his head forward, and Strickland's just hitting him with a knee, just back to back to back. And it's like, bro, you didn't learn after the first one. If Eric McConaughey sees that, just throw a knee up the middle. When he gets aggressive and moves in, just clip him with the knee, bro. Like,
and that's why sometimes I do think gyms are really important where you train in. The coaches change how you fight, especially Extreme Couture. You got champions there, you know what I mean, that can really give you good advice. But these newer fighters also have developed bad habits that take a while to get out of. You know what I mean? Kind of like, and some people never get them. Kind of like Usman. He dips his head all the time. Even after getting knocked out by Leon, he still does that when people throw certain things. He still dips the same head movement that took away his belt. So I think some people get so used to how they move. It's a hard habit to break. He's a little newer in the space, so he might be able to break it. But that's kind of an example where, especially Eric's pretty much a dominant striker. He's not really trying to grapple with you. That's going to work to his advantage and his experience. So I'll be interested to see if Johnson's doing that, which he probably will if you're doing it in sparring. See if he can take advantage of that.
Yeah, and not to contradict myself, we were just talking about Extreme Couture in the last matchup. I do think that if Dante does try to fight with that typical Extreme Couture style, where like maybe he's a little more patient now, maybe he's gonna try to kind of pressure Meconico against the wall, win some minutes, just with control time. I don't think Dante has that tool set yet. I don't think he has the cardio for that yet. And I think the more he grapples in this situation, the worse it's gonna look for him come the end of the second or early third round.
And if these heights are correct, I mean, it is, if they're really a 4-inch height, I mean, depending on how much is leg, then upper body, it is harder to grapple with taller people. It wears you out a lot more. So we'll be interested, but I'm all on Eric on this one. I've seen a lot of people on Johnson, but I don't understand the hype, to be honest with you.
I agree. Moving on, we had a short. Oh shit, my bad. We had a short notice replacement, and then another short notice replacement on top of that.
Look at this website, $1 billion company, by the way. It's terrible, bro.
It's still glitching, but we have Charles Johnson versus Eduardo Chapolin.
Let me go on tab. I'll see if I can get his actual stats.
Yeah.
So he's 5'7" and he's got a 67-inch reach.
Okay. So he's
30.
He's a little shorter than Charles. Little reach disadvantage here.
Nothing crazy though.
Honestly, so from what I've seen, Chapolin's tape, he's got power. He definitely has power for the weight class. The issue with me, the guy had, a kind of poor performance on Contender Series, had a poor performance on The Ultimate Fighter. I don't know, man. Charles Johnson is a dog. He's a vet. The dude has fought everybody. He has a win over the current champion. He also has a win over Lonnie Kavanaugh, who's another, big prospect, even though he just lost to Brandon Roybal. I just don't know if this is a good short notice fight for Chapolin, if I'm being honest. Like, this is a dangerous one to take on short notice. But in his favor, lately Charles has kind of looked chinny. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but like in his last couple of matchups, like he's been getting rocked off like stuff that doesn't usually rock him. Like, I think he ate a jab from Almabayev that had him pretty hurt. What was his last fight? Let's see.
Got Asu, where he had that crazy stretch loss.
Yeah.
Bruno Silva, Alex Perez knocked him out first round.
Perez. That was the other fight I was thinking of. So Almabayev rocked him with like a jab, and then he also was getting pieced up by Alex Perez. And I kind of worry that age and activity has caught up with him. He's the most active fighter on the roster right now. I just think that I know he wants to be active and he wants to show the UFC, give him a shot, but I don't know, man. I think it's kind of working backwards in his favor right now, and I fear that Chapolin's going to catch him with something. So, not a super confident pick, but just for the fuck of it, I'm going to take Chapolin.
Okay. I'm going to get DraftKings up so I can see active odds on all these fights. Interesting. Yeah, so I do agree. Charles has definitely been having some sketchy moments. He's going against them. It's weird because he has some of the best wins on his resume in the division. You know what I mean? He knocked out the champ. The Kavanaugh fight has aged. He's finishing these amazing young fighters. Now, He did lose to Alex Perez, but one thing, kind of like what we're saying about other fighters, where Alex Perez was kind of due for a win. He was going against literally all the top 5 fighters. The UFC was doing him no favors for his comeback. I mean, who'd he have to go against? It's like Tatsuro, Azu also. I mean, Mohamed Makachev, which nobody was losing or beating when he was in the UFC. So I don't think that Alex Perez one is a terrible loss, because I do think he was kind of due for it. With that being said, it is scary, I think, for Charles when you got a young guy coming in with nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Everything to gain. Charles, especially if you want to keep getting booked for fights, you got to win. But, Charles, honestly, in the UFC, minus back in 2023, which I don't think he was the same fighter he is now. He hasn't lost back-to-back in a long time. But like I said, you're fighting against some guy who honestly has nothing to lose. He's going to come in swinging. He's got a point to prove. Who is that young fighter? I think it was about a month ago that came in and he lost, but he had like the best debut ever. I wish I could remember his name.
You know what weight class?
I don't. I wish I could remember. It was neither it was like 125 or 135. But either way, that would be the only thing that scares me. I don't know anything about this guy fight-wise. I didn't see his Contender Series or Ultimate Fighter fight. But I think Charles will fight smart, get back in that win column. You don't want to have double losses. And he seems like a guy, he's kind of like Bobby Green. He wants to fight a lot. I think we all can agree there's no champion. There is championship aspirations, but in reality, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think he can get close to the top 10, but I think anyone in the top 5 absolutely dogs him. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with Charles because I was originally picking Charles against his original opponent. So I am going to stick with him. I think he has the vet experience, and he doesn't – how old is Charles? What is he, like 35? Yeah, he's 35. He's losing against dogs. You know what I mean? Just some of the best of the division. So I just don't think any of his losses have aged badly, and all of his wins have aged great too, because everyone he's beating has been winning immediately after usually. So I think I'm going to stick with Charles. I don't think it's going to be – I think it's going to be a brawl. I think that guy's not going to want to give up. Chaplin, he's not going to want to give up at all. So I think you're going to have a brawl of about 3 rounds of striking, a little bit of fence grappling, and that'll sum up the fight. I think Charles will get a decision win probably.
Okay. Moving on. Next fight. We have Chidi Njokuani versus Joel Alvarez. I'm excited for this fight. I think that Joel Alvarez, unfortunately, his last fight against Amosov, he went out there and got submitted, pretty much ragdolled very quickly. I just think Amosov is that good. Here, though, you have to worry about Chidi's power a little bit, but I also feel like he's pretty gun shy now at this point in his career. Also, I don't like the fact that when you watch Embedded, this guy's, coaching in a room with like 5 people that look like they just got off their shift at like Home Depot. I want to see you like on Embedded in the gym with killers. Yeah. I know that doesn't hold any weight, but it's just mentally, I'm like, is this where he's at in his career? He's just coaching like somebody's dad now. I don't know. But I'm high on Joel Alvarez. I look past the loss. I think he bounces back here. And fun fact, he's been training with Islam for this camp. He was helping Islam with Ian Gary, and he got this short notice replacement. So I think Joel Alvarez is going to show up looking extremely sharp. I think that, he's a killer. He can strike. He can grapple. Unfortunately, I don't think Chidi has much grappling. I know every now and then he'll throw up a guillotine or something, but he ain't jumping the ghillie on Joel Alvarez. I think Joel Alvarez is going to be able to take him down and probably submit him probably within the first 2 rounds. So Joel Alvarez is my pick.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I mean, you kind of covered everything I would have said. I'm not taking too much from that loss. And I do think Shahidi, he's lost that dog in him, you know, to kind of go out there and finish fights and just put that power in. You never know, could come back. But kind of like you said, I'm definitely on Alvarez this one for sure.
All right. Should be a banger.
It should be.
That'll be one of the fights that I'm definitely expecting to not go the distance.
No, not at all.
Next fight, we have Edson Barboza versus Esteban Ribovic. Another unk fight, man. I mean, I know
Every fight's an unk fight. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know
He's
Esteban is
37. He just don't look it.
Yeah, but Edson Barboza, fan favorite. Everybody loves Edson. The guy's had some amazing fights, crazy knockouts in the UFC. I just don't trust his chin in this fight. Esteban, I think, can crack. We did see him lose to Gamrot in his last fight pretty fast, first round submission, but I just don't think Edson's going to be looking to grapple much here. I think he's probably going to try to eat the calf away. He's going to calf kick Ribovic as much as he can. And we have seen Ribovic be kind of susceptible to that. I think it was when he fought at the Sphere. He did get his calf eaten up a bit, but I like Ribovic here. I think he's going to be just a little more explosive, probably faster hands than Barboza at this point in Barboza's career. So I like Ribovic, and I don't know if he's going to be able to KO Barboza. That's the problem. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wins a decision.
Yeah. I mean, he's only got 3 losses. But man, he's 40. I still think kind of fighting for a check more than anything. I love that they put him on the main card. He deserves it. Like you said, Ribovic's coming off a submission from Gamrot. Barboza does not grapple. So this is just going to be a kickboxing striking match for the most part. I just kind of worry about all the damage Barboza has been taking, scar tissue and such. I think Esteban's definitely going to come out and just start brawling with him. And I think by the second round, Barboza's going to be looking pretty ugly. I think he's going to be backing up a lot. I wouldn't be surprised by a decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if Esteban maybe gets like a mid third round finish after kind of beating up Barboza. Because at 40, man, there's only so much damage you can take. What's crazy is he comes in ripped, looking like how I would dream to my body to look. But I just think the damage and scar tissue, age is going to start catching up. If he was a little younger, I'd think different, but you're 40. I mean, almost pushing 41. Actually, yeah. But I think this is a good fight for Esteban, whatever. Definitely put on his record. Decision wouldn't be surprised, but I think he can get a third round TKO.
Okay. Looking forward to it. All right, next fight. We have Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Mansour coming off that loss to Balgari, or however you say his name, trains with Alex Pereira. Obviously, his game plan in there was to go and take him down. Well, he actually struck with him a bit. Clearly didn't like that because he was getting pieced up from range. That guy is huge, has a long range. Then he tried to take him down, struggled with that, mainly because he was going to the body. He was trying to use like the body lock to take him down. With a guy that tall, it's extremely difficult. He's always going to have his toes or his feet on the mat at some point. So it's very hard to take those guys down. And it just looked like he gassed out. He didn't have much left in the tank by like the second round, third round. And Balgari just basically beat him to a pulp from that point on. But stylistically, tough matchup. I think in this fight, it's a layup. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Dustin Stoltzfus is that good. He could take a beating. I will say that. He's tough. But I think Mansour is going to be able to clip him on the feet, probably put him out. And I just don't think Stoltzfus is going to be able to get much offense off. I don't think he's going to be able to outstrike Mansour. I don't think he's going to be able to use, grappling or jiu-jitsu against him. So I like Mansour Abdul Malik. I expect him to bounce back here. Hopefully, learn from the mistakes in the last fight, and probably get a spectacular knockout or a ground and pound finish.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. And to give him a little credit on his last loss, it's like you said, it's Alex's main training partner. They were just coming off him that championship win. They were probably practicing grappling a ton for that camp. So I think, honestly, it was just great timing for Alex's partner. And honestly, it's the best he ever looked in the UFC. So I think it was just rough timing. He was honestly, he had been helping Alex train for a very similar fight, to be honest with you. So it just, the timing, I think, just didn't work for Malik, and he was a pretty tall guy as well, very strong. So I don't take that loss too badly. I think it was a great learning lesson for him. And like you said, I do think I'm shocked this is on the main card because it is a layup win for him. And maybe that's why they have it on the main card, because they want to have some finishes.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, we have Jalen Turner, the Tarantula, versus Cowie Fernandez. I'm curious to hear what you have for this one.
Yeah, I'm a big Turner fan, man. I loved his style. Obviously, towards the end when he was trying to retire, not mentally there, I think he lost himself in how he fought and was kind of giving up in fights. I do think he's in a much better mental space. I liked how quick he put out Edson Barboza, even though we were just talking about his age and, the chin and all that. But he made it look incredibly easy, because I'm pretty sure he knocked him out pretty quick, if I remember. I didn't expect him to put him out like that. I'm sure he's got the length, because he has a crazy reach. 77-inch reach, 6'3". I mean, that's a huge height difference right there. I mean, you're talking almost 6 inches in height. Not as big of a reach as I would think, but I really like Turner in this. He knows how to use his reach. I think some of the negatives that come with it is sometimes how he tries to take advantage of his reach does leave him a little bit open to get chinned. But the Harry Hardwick win, if I remember correctly, Hardwick went up in a weight class, and it was a last minute fill-in. Yeah. So that doesn't, in a calf kick, I remember that. He was just kicking the shit out of him. You're not going to have that with Jalen Turner. You're not going to be able to do that with Jalen Turner. So I don't take much from his most recent win, which is about 11 months ago. I like Turner's coming off about 8 months. I like his gym better. I kind of just overall like his fighting style better. So yeah, I think I'm going to be with the Tarantula. I think he's got all the momentum, the hype, and then I think he's got his confidence back, because before he went in that depressive, was it Bobby Green that he beat up and everyone was just giving him shit for how he finished that? Yeah, it was Bobby Green. I think that affected him mentally very badly. Shout out Herb Dean for ruining mental health for a UFC fighter. And I think that messed him up, and that made him not want to fight. Because if I remember correctly, this is a while ago, with the Moicano, he knocked him out. The finish was there, and he was just scared to hurt him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think he's gotten away from that mindset. He's feeling confident. I saw him backstage with Ian Gary and stuff. He's trained, helped him with the Carlos Props fight. So I think he's got all the momentum. He's back healthy. And when he's mentally there, he's a problem. Very lanky. He's a problem in that division. So, yeah, I'm all on Turner, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on Jalen Turner as well. Shout out to my guy, Coach Ant, one of his main coaches. If you watch The Embedded, he was out there, running up to the Rocky statue in Philly. Jalen has really impressed me lately, in and outside the cage. I think that, he realized that he needed to get his mental health right, and he's pretty much done everything that he's needed to in his personal life to, kind of focus, lock in. And I got to meet Jalen in Miami, the last Miami card. Very nice, humble guy. Also, he's extremely mad. He is super tall. I'm about Fernandez's height. Bro, Jalen Turner is a scary, physically imposing man. Like, he is massive. I think that, the range is going to give Fernandez problems here. He may try to eat the calf, but while he's doing that, Jalen can just throw, something straight down the middle, probably crack Fernandez. We know Jalen also has good grappling as well. I like Jalen here. I think he's going to get it done. And I expect this to be a finish, to be honest. I think that Fernandez has shown that he's, a great hammer. We just haven't seen how he looks as the nail. And I do think that if he starts getting beat up here, I think he's going to crumble a bit. So I like Jalen Turner as well.
And great odds on him from a gambling perspective as well. Yeah. So, I mean, at those odds, and honestly, like you said, you really haven't seen anyone that can really kind of push him. Because if you look at a lot of his wins, most of those people, I mean, I don't even think they're in the UFC anymore, to be honest with you. Literally, none of them are. His last 3 wins. Did Harry get kicked out of the UFC? No, I think so. He's still. Oh, okay. He hasn't fought since that loss. So, I mean, all his UFC wins, none of them are in the UFC anymore.
Oh, Harry did fight. He got his jaw broke. Remember?
Yeah, badly.
Was it Rahiki? No, not Rahiki.
Let's see. No, it was Rahiki.
Okay, it was.
It was. Yeah, I remember that. He got pieced up. So I'm not. The wins aren't doing much for me. I'm big on in 160 minus 160. I think those are great odds from a gambling point of view. I'm surprised that the odds are that close, but it's not too crazy.
I agree. All right,
to the co-main.
We have Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. Go ahead and tell me how great you think Mackenzie Dern is.
Oh, this guy. I like Robinson actually a lot. I think she seems like a really cool person. Kind of one of them. Well, she's not old. She's only 31. But, she's kind of a different personality for the women's division, bright personality, red hair, likes to smoke weed, and she just kind of seems like a really cool person, to be honest with you. And I like that a lot of times she does go for sub finishes, if the opponent allows it. And I actually watched a little bit of her media interview before we got on it, and she openly said, if we were just going jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu, Mackenzie Dern is 100% better her. And she actually learned jiu-jitsu while training MMA, and she really only knows how to get out of, let's say, a closed guard by striking. This is a very concerning statement. You know what I mean? When you're going against technically a jiu-jitsu champion, she got world titles, and obviously she's been effective in the UFC with her jiu-jitsu. Both of them have, but what worries about me with Robinson, her striking is very dull. And when she kind of goes up against someone who she can't submit, she definitely struggles a bit. And I think Mackenzie Dern kind of X's all that out. I don't think you're going to be able to sub. It's not impossible. You can definitely catch people, but I don't see her subbing Mackenzie Dern. She's not going to outstrike her, in my opinion. So it kind of just leaves me, where's the path to victory? But you never know. But I didn't see their face off, but Mackenzie Dern's kind of like big for her weight class. You know what I mean? Not obviously height or anything, but I mean, she's muscular. So I don't think she'll be overly dominant on the grappling, but I think that she will be the dominant one grappling. I don't think she's going to take get Robinson down and she can't get up. I don't think it's going to be one of those matches, but I do think she'll be able to get her down, have her there, do a little ground and pound, or have some submission threats, and she'll be able to win those rounds. My other big concern with Robinson is she's never been in a 5-round fight, if I remember correctly. So that's so much different, especially when you guys are mixing in grappling a lot. That's just very tiring on the body, and Mackenzie's been there, and she's done it with very high level grappling and strikers for the division. So I'm just having a problem finding where Robinson wins the fight. It's possible she can definitely point her way. I don't see her finishing in a grappling aspect, but everything tells me Dern. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
All right, so I'm actually about to
Well,
contradict like everything that you just said. All right, so before we started recording tonight, you were talking to me about this fight, and you said that you were more impressed with Mackenzie Dern striking over Jillian Robertson's, right? To an extent, I don't think you're wrong. I do think that Jillian, when she first came into the UFC, her striking was atrocious. Like, if she couldn't submit you, she looked bad. Especially if she couldn't get you down. She looked bad. But going back to the Michelle Waterson-Gomez fight, and I know Michelle was already way past her prime at this point, but this was 2024. Jillian was starting to train with Dean Thomas at the time at Goat Shed. She showed up in that fight and just absolutely pieced up Michelle Waterson. And if you know Michelle Waterson, you know, she was known for her karate style, being light on her feet, kind of fast. Jillian impressed me with her striking then. It had showed that she had, you know, kind of leveled up there. Then she fights Luana Pinheiro. She obviously is able to use her grappling a bit there, and she wins the decision. She fights Marina Rodriguez. Again, striking looks amazing. She's able to take the back using her grappling and just absolutely destroy Marina, like hitting her with nasty 12-6 elbows, hitting her with just nasty shots. And I just feel like Jillian, like that has been Dean Thomas's main focus with her since he's been working with her, is to level that striking up so that way it'll open up her opportunities in the grappling if she's not able to just take the girls down off rip. Into the Amanda Lemos fight. Amanda Lemos, we know she has power. She has hands. We just saw last weekend when she fought Tainara. She rocked Tainara in the third round. Almost had her out of there. Like, she was wobbly. Jillian was piecing her up on the feet and then took her down. And I know she didn't submit her or finish her, but like, to me, I think Mackenzie Dern's striking really hasn't leveled up in the last couple of fights. I think that she's gotten comfortable because she knew that her title shot was coming. She got the title shot. She was never going to beat Wei Li, if I'm being completely honest. That fight was never going to be competitive. I think Wei Li was just going to absolutely beat her to a pulp. And I think she kind of dodged a bullet there. With Jillian, I think she would have lost to Wei Li as well. But the reason I'm bringing it up is I'm just saying that I don't think Mackenzie Dern has really leveled up much since she's, you know, really gotten her title shot. I don't think that she's working on things to improve that much. And I see her out here doing stuff with Full Violence. I see her doing all these appearances. I know you have to do that type of stuff as a champion to promote yourself a bit more. But on the other side, I see Jillian out here grinding, putting in so much work to work on the things that people expect her to be kind of bad at. And I just think on the feet, Jillian is a little bit nastier. Not much. I don't think it's going to be a huge gap, but I think she's just going to be able to hit Mackenzie Dern with some shots where Mackenzie's going to instantly want to grapple or pull guard. And going back to the size, Mackenzie Dern is massive for this weight class. She is bulky. She has a lot of muscle mass. I think that's not going to be in her favor as this fight goes on, whereas Jillian is lean. I think, yes, we haven't seen Jillian go 5 rounds, but I think that her fighting style, she has the perfect body type to be able to endure that pace. And I think that when Mackenzie Dern starts to slow down in the later rounds, because there probably will be some grappling early, I think Jillian is going to look much fresher, going to be much faster on the feet. And I don't know if she's going to be able to knock out Mackenzie Dern, but I just see Jillian being able to take over as this fight goes late. Like, I think maybe first, second round, Mackenzie's probably having some success, probably being able to impose her will because she will probably be a little stronger than Jillian. But I think rounds 3, rounds 4, rounds 5, Mackenzie's going to be fucking huffing and puffing. And I like Jillian's odds. Maybe, you know, Mackenzie makes just a silly mistake because she's tired and gets either caught in an arm bar or, you know, a rear naked choke, or maybe she gets ground and pounded, you know, with back mount. I don't know, but I like Jillian here.
Okay.
To contradict that, though, I see a lot of people I respect that break down fights, like even just like real analysts, and they're picking Mackenzie Dern. So I could be completely wrong. She might go out there and get fucking pieced up on the feet, but just I see Jillian having a slight edge here, and I feel like she's being disrespected by like the general public.
So I don't disagree with honestly much that you said. She did look great in that last fight. So this is what, because I want to deep dive into this fight, because I know we're going to go on and on about the next one. The only thing I'll say is I may feel like Mackenzie's better at mixing it all together. When Mackenzie needs to get that takedown, she gets it most of the time, and she can because she has that strength to do it. And that just jiu-jitsu background. I mean, she's been doing it forever. And I think she's kind of mixed in a little bit of wrestling where Robinson, like she's kind of stated, is more MMA jiu-jitsu. She doesn't have all the foundations of just regular jiu-jitsu, how to make those transitions all the time. She needs to use striking to make those transitions. So you're not really wrong with everything you're saying, to be honest with you. I don't disagree with any of it. Like I said, we just don't know with her in those later rounds because we haven't seen it. But only time will tell, and we'll see. But I really think either way, it's probably, I think, honestly, co-main and main event, bet the decision, to be honest.
And last thing, and then we'll move on to the main event because I know that's what people really want. I kind of like the fact that somebody is coming from like MMA jiu-jitsu versus regular jiu-jitsu. If we look at like Marcus Buchecha, amazing jiu-jitsu guy. In the jiu-jitsu world, the guy's a champion, multi-championship, multi-organization. But when he comes to the UFC, even if he takes you down and he's in a favorable position, it's like without the gi, some of these guys are just like completely lost. Like, I don't know. It's a different game is all I'll say. And I like somebody who kind of started with like a blank canvas versus somebody who came in with something that was already kind of pre-existing. It's harder to get, somebody to transition everything that they know in one specialty to a completely different specialty versus somebody that's just like, teach me what I need to know to be successful in this sport.
But this is what I would argue. One more thing is that's where I feel like the problem with Robinson is she didn't come in with a specialty. She didn't come in as a striker learning jiu-jitsu and MMA. She didn't come in as, a boxer, or whatever. I'm mixing my words up now. And I like that at least Dern has that foundation of what she's done for, let's just say, a decade at least, that to lean back on. If it goes to the ground, she knows every type of submission that exists. I think Robinson knows those really standard ones, that you kind of see her doing. And it's about 4 or 5 submissions where I think Dern has kind of a little bit more in her bag to kind of get a little more creative with those random scrambles, or when, let's just say Julian's, throwing a strike, how to grab that arm and grab those legs and do some kind of wild submissions. But we'll see, because Dern doesn't really do a lot of wild type submissions at the same time. So I hate saying that, but I just know she does have that in her bag.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I like that we spent a decent amount of time on it because now I'm going to be more excited for the fight.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good one.
All right, moving on to the main event. All right, we have Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary. I'm going to be honest with this. Yeah, fuck it. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, man, this is honestly, I'm really excited for this fight. I think the odds, you got to get to Islam. He's pound for pound. He's beaten absolute legends of the game. But Aaron has a great resume too. When you look at the guys he's beaten and what they do after he wins, I mean, just straight killers. You can apply the same thing to Islam, obviously. But Gary has a lot of tools to be a problem for Islam. I think people a lot of times get kind of caught up in the personal stuff with Gary and kind of let that cloud him as a fighter. And I know he's not a big finisher, but he wins. And he wins against great people. Bilal's a great win. Carlos is a really great win. And he took those shots. You know what I mean? So that makes me feel he does have a great chin. I think the wrestling is going to be, as always, a huge aspect for Islam. I think they're kind of I want to say they're kind of even on the striking, to be honest with you. I watched the Bilal fight before we got on here, and I love Ian's lateral movements. I love, I'm not going to compare Bilal and Islam's wrestling. It's night and day difference. But I liked how he defended it. I liked how he had turned things around. Bilal had his moments of catching Ian, but for the most part, the combinations, I love the kicks. A lot of people don't kick a ton. Islam's gone against a few people who are really boxing heavy. I love Ian's going to be doing front kicks, orbital kicks, calf kicks, and that's going to change a lot for someone who's a dominant wrestler. Islam's tough. He'll go through it, but it does slow down that wrestling in the later rounds if it makes it there. So I am really excited. I hate that, like I said, I feel like the outside noise and the goofy, weird stuff Ian talks about overshadows his fighting skill. And as a fighter, you should like Ian. He does everything an MMA fighter is supposed to do. He's good at grappling. He's good at striking. He's not a big finisher, but he's also going against straight dogs. You know what I mean? He gets the job done when he needs to. And if someone's way better at striking, he's going to apply the grappling, kind of like MVP. He knew he needed to grapple MVP, that strange movement that everyone seems to have a problem with. He killed it. He's like, all right, well, I'm just going to take you down and you can't move much. So I'm very excited for us. Do I think Ian's going to win? I don't think so, but I do think in this weight class, he definitely has the better odds. When I look at it, he doesn't really have necessarily a knockout power, but I definitely think he has enough power to cause a lot of damage over 5 rounds if it comes to that. And the height will be, I think, a big thing. Even though I know I just saw the face-off, I don't know what shoes everybody was wearing, and shoes can make a huge difference with those face-offs. So I'll be interested to see when we get in. Because I watched Bilal fight. He looked way bigger than Bilal. And I think Bilal and Islam are pretty similar in height. So I'll be interested to see when they get in the cage the height difference, because it is harder to take down a taller guy. He's got more leg. He can push off a little bit more. But overall, Islam's a dog. He's pound for a reason. Incredible resume. When he does have a challenge, he finds a way to neutralize it, get the job done. I mean, he didn't let JDM do anything to him. I mean, literally nothing. So he has the power to, or I guess wrestling ability to neutralize threat if there is one on the feet. But I'll just be interested to see, because or who was it that Shafkat, obviously gave Ian a lot of problems with the wrestling. Yeah. But he couldn't sub him. And if you look at Shafkat's record, I mean, if he gets a hold of them grappling wise, he ends the fight the moment he gets an opportunity to. So that is impressive. While he did lose, that just shows he has a lot of good defense. And that was 2 years ago. So it's only improved. And I think he's probably, especially with the Bilal fight, you're practicing grappling. So I do think he's been working on this matchup for at least a year. I like that he took the Carlos hits, didn't fold, didn't get knocked down at all.
Till third round.
Till that third round. But he bounced back and he did what he needed to do. Which is what you want to see. Instead of just standing around trying to grapple, fight him, he did what he needed to do. And that's great IQ. So as much as, and I'm gassing Ian up right now, only to pick Islam, but everybody knows what we say about Islam. There's nothing much for me to dive into. We know his strengths. We've seen his fights. He has tons of footage on him. So there's not much me to add to Islam. We know what he does. He's honestly the most likable Dagestani fighter we've ever came across. Seems like a really humble, dope dude, to be honest with you. I love his interviews. They make me laugh. He's got a meme clip every interview he does with DC or another fighter. And he's dedicated to the craft. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He's family, fighting, base. That's that Dagestani life. So I think with Islam, his whole life is fighting. But for Ian, this is that moment you dream about. You have the possibility of getting a belt, and on top of that, the pound for pound best fighter in the world to dethrone. And if you do that, you're a legend.
Yeah.
Honestly, if either of them win, they move into a legendary category, because this would add a huge win to Islam's resume that's already beautiful and star-studded. But if Ian does this, I mean, he's no matter what he does after, he's a legend for defeating him. Kind of like I feel like with Sean Strickland when he beat Chimaev, you're a legend immediately. You know what I mean? That's legendary. So, and I think also with Ian, I do like the mindset. He's acknowledging Islam's great, but he has that still delusion of, I can do this. Like, I can beat him. Kind of like when we heard Sean talking about Chimaev. He's like, I can do this. Like, we'll see about this, wrestling, I like the confidence. He's not brushing it. He's acknowledging how great he is, but he's like, I think I can do this. So I say all that still to pick Islam by decision, but I do like the odds and competition level that Ian Gary brings to this fight.
Yeah, I off rip, there was one thing you said. Ian's grappling. I think his grappling fucking sucks.
Okay.
I say that because I bet him to submit MVP, right? This is when he just started training with Shoot the Bucks with Charles Oliveira and all these guys, right? He had a full camp out there in Brazil. And I'm like, bro, Ian has to have grappling. Like, this guy's well-rounded. He is a very high IQ fighter. The guy does exactly what he needs to win fights. How do you beat MVP? You grapple him and hopefully submit him. Or you just, win off control time. He goes out there. He takes MVP's back. He has the neck. And this guy can't finish a rear naked choke. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? He's like, he's like off. The angle is off. Yeah. The elbow's over here. I'm like, this guy doesn't know how to grapple. He really doesn't. He knows how to get to good positions, but he doesn't know how to capitalize off those positions. So that being said, I'm not going to be too hard on Ian Gary. I actually do like the guy. My first ever live event, he knocked out Daniel Rodriguez. I will say Ian Gary is a very technical fighter. He breaks his opponents down well. He knows where their weaknesses are, and he knows how to capitalize on that. The problem here is Islam doesn't have weaknesses. Islam has good striking, unlike what we saw from Habib and some of the other guys from that camp. He's also the best wrestler in the UFC. Like, I don't think there's anybody, pound for pound, wrestling wise, that would be better than Islam. That being said, I think that we hear the same thing with every single guy that Islam faces. Every new guy that comes in, it's always, no, but this guy's different. This guy has this thing that's going to pose problems to Islam. And then what happens? Islam gets his hands on them, breaks their will by being able to take them down, even though they knew that's exactly what he wanted to do. And by like the second, third round, they're just completely shattered. All confidence is out the window. They just looked terrified across the octagon. JDM, before the Carlos Prates fight, I had never seen the facial expressions that man showed in that Islam fight.
He was broken, man.
It looked like somebody just literally told him his family was murdered or something. Like, he looked terrible. And I feel like the same thing's going to happen here. I feel like Islam, maybe the first round is going to just be kind of filling each other out. Ian might defend a takedown. He's fresh. He's dry. Whatever. Maybe he's able to just move his feet because that's what he's good at. He has great footwork. Second, third round, Islam's eventually taking him down. I don't think he's getting away from Islam when that happens. And I think we're going to see another dominant performance by Islam. I think that if Islam ends up on Ian's back, it's going to be a bad situation for Gary. I don't think Gary's going to be able to get out. That being said, I don't remember the last time I saw Islam go for like a back mount position. He's not really that type of wrestler. He's going to just kind of hold you there. If you try to get up, he's going to let you get up a bit, and then he's going to drain the gas tank by bringing you back down. Very DC-esque. Obviously, DC spends a lot of time with these guys. That's what you do. When you're that skilled in the wrestling against a guy who's dangerous when he's on his feet, zap the gas tank. Let him get up, bring him back down. Let him get up, bring him back down. And I think that's what Islam's going to do here. I think Islam at welterweight is a completely different animal. I think that his cardio is better here. I think he's stronger here. And I feel bad for Ian because his dreams are going to be shattered on Saturday night. He's going to literally get sent home with another loss on the record. And we're going to see Ian next week putting videos on Instagram saying, guys, I know I lost, but I won 5 rounds with Islam Makhachev. It's going to be like the whole fucking Shavkat thing all over again, bro. So, sorry, Ian. You're losing this fight, brother. Islam Makhachev is going to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it, unfortunately.
And I'll say for Ian, man, having Shavkat and Islam be your only losses are not bad looks.
No, not at all.
Like, those are probably
I'm just
the
giving
best
him
people.
shit.
Yeah. But I will say, and just to like be a little more detailed, I think he's good defensive grappling. Yeah, his offensive obviously is never there. I don't even think he's got a submission. He's got 1 submission, I think, and that was probably amateur. I think he's got good defensive, and that's what we saw in the Shavkat. Because Shavkat had he had his back for a while. And there was a time where Ian Gary, I think it was 5th round, and, if I'm imagining things, he was trying to submit
for Shavkat.
Yeah. I don't think he has great offensive grappling by any means, even though he's had shoot boxing. But if we've kind of realized with that gym, they're really just big Muay Thai strikers with a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Charles is really the only one coming out of there that is offensively on another level with offensive grappling. They're really just known for pressure, having a little bit of defensive. But I agree with what you're saying. And like you said, everyone says the same thing every time. But sometimes, just like we saw with Chimaev, we saw with Merab, eventually sometimes someone does come where the momentum's there. The mindset, I think the mental mindset, which I'm not worried about. I'll never worry about that with Islam. He's mentally there. But I say all that and I'm still picking Islam. But I just like Gary's odds of making it a really good fight compared to JDM, where it was just sad to watch. Like you said, every round starting a fight, he just looked sadder, and sadder. It was kind of like with Leon, the 5th round of that second Usman fight. They're like, wake up. What are you doing? JDM just didn't do what Leon did. And Leon obviously got lucky as hell. But yeah, I just don't think he's going to be like that. I'm assuming he's going to have Charles in his corner. So I think that's good. That's that good experience. I know Charles lost to him, but Charles is a very, very high IQ fighter and a good coach, I think, to have in your corner. So I'll be interested to see. I do think it goes all 5 rounds. I don't think, like I said, I think that grappling defense is going to play a part. I do think he'll have his back. He'll have his way with the grappling most part. But I do think you'll see Ian get up a few times. I don't think it's just going to be he'll lay on him the whole time. I could be totally off, though. But Ian, like I said, I think Dern and Islam by decision are just nukes. I think you should parlay that. I bet it's a minimum plus 500, and you should just throw a couple hundred on that.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens at UFC 330 this weekend. Good luck to all the fighters. Hopefully, weight cuts go well for everybody. I would hate to see a fight get pulled off the card if somebody misses weight. But yeah, man, there's another breakdown for you guys. We will do a recap probably Sunday night. We'll probably have that out, and then
Absolutely.
Hopefully Contender Series. I don't know for sure if I'll be able to do a Contender Series video just because I'm going to Sacramento, but
you'll be busy.
Well, yeah, we'll try to work it out. Looking forward to it. Thanks again, man. Great show. Great breakdown. Boss. And yeah, if you guys don't follow us on Instagram, I am at UFC Pat. This is at Big Verb.
I think it's just Big Verb right now. I'll have to double check. I forgot my Instagram one, to be honest with you.
Okay, you'll find it. Just fucking.
There's not a lot of big verbs. Yeah, there's not a lot of this. So.
Yeah, and then obviously follow the show at the Corner Talk MMA. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we will see you guys in a couple of days after this event.
Until next time.